You guys, this might be the next big story. Brad Pitt demands trial by jury against Angelina Jolie over French wine estate. There is a part of me that hopes that Brad has been inspired by Johnny Depp and is going to push to get this televised. Now, I'm not picking sides, but this would be very interesting to do a deep dive on. So follow me because this is going to happen and I will keep you in the loop. You guys, this one is going to hurt. Actually, it's going to cut like a knife. So let's take it back to 2005. Actually, better yet, before there were these two, there were these two. And if you haven't checked my Jennifer Aniston playlist on the top of my page, go do so because I did a little deep dive on them. They were together for 7 years and married for 5, up until what we all know as 2005. Now, as I mentioned in my previous video, we are doing a deep dive on these two because they are also headed to court. Angelina has breached contract and sold her portion of the French Chateau winery that they own together. And Brad is not too happy about that. So yes, in 2005, while Brad Pitt was married to Jennifer Aniston, he started filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith with none other than Angelina Jolie. And if you haven't watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith, let me tell you, these two have some of the most heavy on-screen chemistry that you'll ever see. And why is that, you ask? Well, it's because that chemistry was 100% real. And before the filming of this movie even began, Jen Aniston met Angelina and said, "Brad is so excited to be working with you, and he can't wait to work with you." Little did Jen know what was going to happen. Listen, this story isn't about Team Jen, Team Jolie, but I will just say for record's sake, it killed my heart for Jen when all of this happened. So shortly after the filming of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Brad and Jen went on a couple's vacation, and then right after that, they announced their divorce. These two really make it official pretty much after that whole situation. And just 1 year into their relationship, they were expecting their first biological child, Shiloh Jolie Pitt. Which the crazy part is, Shiloh is 14 years old. Where has the time gone? So at one point, these two did a really sexy photo shoot together. I think it was Variety or Vogue, one of those magazines. It was hot pictures of them and then just a really nice family-esque type of picture of their entire family. So down the road, they really became very well known for having this huge family, this beautiful family together. They adopted some children and they also had some biological children together. And they did a ton of humanitarian work together. So a lot of the backlash that they originally got from the Jen and Brad breakup kind of dissipated because they were doing so much good in the world. And they were raising a beautiful family together. So by 2014, these two decide they're going to make it really official and get married. And they actually get married in the chateau that they are fighting over now, Chateau Miraval in France. Here is Chateau Miraval, and yes, this is also a winery. And it is said to be worth $164 million. So things start to get a little strange by 2015. Now, by 2015, we start to see less and less of Brad and Angie on red carpets. Not that they ever did a ton, but we are running out of time, so follow for the next part. These two are headed to court to battle it out over their chateau. Stick around, this is part 2 Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie deep dive. Now by 2015, we are seeing less and less of Brad and Angelina. They aren't making as many red carpet appearances, but in the meantime, their 6 kids are growing up very fast. So by 2016, Angelina Jolie files for divorce and states irreconcilable differences. But from 2016 to about 2020, these two get caught up in a really messy legal battle over their children. So before the couple actually separated, Angelina Jolie had Brad Pitt investigated for physical abuse against their children. Now, many people at the time thought she was playing dirty and that this was kind of a setup for Brad. So the investigation happens, but nothing is found, and Brad is pretty much let go of any sort of abuse allegations. And then shortly after these two separate, Brad does go to rehab for alcohol abuse. He claimed that he doesn't remember a day where he didn't drink since college. It's been said that in recent years he has been fully sober. So when these two enter this messy divorce battle, the judge actually grants Brad Pitt joint custody of the children. Her team was able to cast doubt that the judge couldn't be entirely impartial to the situation. So once Angelina gets the initial judge off the case, they battle it out out again, and she ends up getting sole custody of the kids. And I believe Brad had some sort of visiting rights and all of that. Now, at this point, Jolie had been divorced 3 times and Brad twice. So it was said that the animosity and tensions really remained after this messy custody battle over their children. By 2020, cameras spotted Brad at Angelina's house at one point, and things started to seem a little bit more friendly in the co-parenting world that they were in. Fast forward to today, Brad Pitt is now claiming that Angelina Jolie has sold her portion of this $164 million chateau estate to a rival investor. He claims that she has inflicted harm by doing this and knowingly and purposefully violating the contractual rights that they were both obligated to. There are so many details coming out in regards to this chateau in France that they own together. And in my third part, we're going to go over some of the legal documentation about the chateau. So I will see you in the next part. This is Yuri Scheffler, and let me tell you, he is highly connected to this lawsuit that Brad is bringing Angelina Jolie to court for. Yuri Scheffler is a Soviet-born British and Israeli billionaire businessman. Try saying that 10 times. He is owner of SPI Group and International Consortia, and they basically sell alcohol throughout the world. But there is a lot of controversy behind this man. So Russia claimed that Scheffler unlawfully purchased a number of trademarks at below market price during the 90s, and they felt like this exploited many of these companies. Anyways, Scheffler eventually got banned from Russia, essentially, and he actually removed his Stoli Group name from Russia, as well as the whole vodka brand. So before these two got married, Brad actually owned 60% of the Chateau Miraval that they are fighting over now. And then eventually, by the point that they were married, he gave 10% of his share, his larger share, to Jolie, and then it was 50-50. Now Brad is claiming that Angelina sold her share unlawfully and did it behind his back. So in legal documents filed last week, Brad's legal team insists that Angelina Jolie sought to tarnish Brad's reputation by doing this underhandedly. They called it a hostile takeover of Miraval. Brad's legal team called Yuri Scheffler a stranger with poisonous associations and intentions. Oof, that hurts. But apparently this is how Yuri Scheffler works. He has a very cutthroat businessman attitude. Basically, Brad's legal team is saying, hey, Brad spent and invested so much time into Chateau Miraval, and now you are taking it away from him and trying to, very sneakily sell your portion to a businessman who is cutthroat and has no good intentions. The argument is that Angelina Jolie really owed Brad the right to yay or nay this decision of selling her half of the business. And as I said in my previous 2 parts, this is not the only legal dispute that these two have had together. So it has been a messy couple years for them. A hearing for this case is set for July 19th, so make sure to hit the follow button. I will keep you guys in the loop and see you in the next video.